Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Christie B. I am, what do I call myself? I had to look at a few other intros across YouTube and see how other people did it. Some people just launch straight into their process. Some others have like a little intro that they've done. I'm not really sure how to start mine because I don't really want to define myself yet. I'm not really sure if I should define myself by a career that I'm transitioning out of, the transition that I'm in, or simply what this video is about. I think what I'm always doing and always filming, rarely editing and rarely uploading, is just making art in my sketchbook. And I have so many sketchbooks. I have been drawing since I was a kid, and it's a practice that I've had pretty much constantly throughout my life. A big gap when I got my first job in my career as a graphic designer. Work was really intense. It was a lot to get my head around, and I took a few years break, not intentionally, just because I just fell out of it, and I think a lot of people do. And over the years I've picked it back up and have just become more expressive, more free with it, caring less about what it looks like and focusing more about what it feels like. And this video is me just going to a local park, bringing my sketchbook and drawing outside. And a couple of years ago I wouldn't have been able to do that because I didn't have the self-confidence. I was always worried about what other people were thinking when I was drawing or sitting alone, and I was constantly in their perception of me, which is quite a lonely experience and was something that I actively worked on because I didn't want to live such a limited life. I wanted to live freely and fully and do the simple things that I really wanted to do without fear. So going to the park and drawing is something that I did over and over until I wasn't afraid anymore. And it's amazing how many people I've met along the way that want to do that too, but also feel the fear. And this transition that I'm in, pivoting from a 15-year career in graphic design to creative play workshops for the adult that wants to make but doesn't know where to start. That's what I want this channel to be, is just playful, talk about the things that maybe we're too afraid to voice, the permission slip that we need to dive straight into the sketchbook and not be afraid that it's not perfect. Because one thing that I've picked up on in lots of people that I've worked with in the creative art space is that perfectionism is the killer of our expressive creativity. And I think there are many layers to perfectionism, but I think the core of it is that we were made to feel that what we did was going to be judged. It wasn't good enough. If it's not perfect, it doesn't matter. And I think our society has made us that way. And I think the space that we can come to our sketchbook alone or with friends is a playful one, and it's one that we don't need to perfect. And that's the space I want to create in this channel. And every day, every moment that I open up my sketchbook. So I'm going to show you a couple of pages, maybe just the ones that, like, this is my current sketchbook at the moment. And I'm just going to flip through it just so you can see how diverse I'm actually talking about here. Let's talk about the actual sketchbook itself. This is amazing. Zeta Florence. I believe it is a company in Melbourne. And it's flat, it opens, it's amazing. Actually, this is a really good spread to open up on, just using black ink, oil pastels. And if I just were to go to a different page, you could see I was watching Scavenger's Reign and just drawing otherworldly kind of cartoons. But I think it's important to use your sketchbook to explore different styles. And whatever you're into at the time, whether it's sci-fi, maybe it's old movies, this is Treasure Planet, the best Disney film. And complete mess, you know, it's just, I think it should be a place where you process and you let your hand decide what to do instead of trying to create something perfect for your walls. So much pressure. Great if you've got a practice already and you're wanting to work towards that. But in terms of just expressing what is on the surface, Sketchbook Play is the best. So this is the page that I worked on today, the other day when I recorded the video. And I just used a biro. I just used a Papermate biro, and I'd watched a video on Trojan Horse is a Unicorn, one of the best channels on YouTube. And the sketchbook artist was they just had one of those 4-color ballpoint pens, because they said they really liked it. It kind of acted like a graphite pencil where you could kind of feather it in, go light, and then add shading and the details. And I was like, oh, it's not really something I've ever considered. So instead of whipping out all my fancy supplies, I just got the Papermate and went to the park. So let's go to the park. I love this park. It's called Quarantine Reserve. It's right near my house in Abbotsford, New South Wales. And I originally came to this park the other day to seek out this boat that had rusted and washed up ashore. And I wanted to just park in front of it and just draw it. It was so textural and had so many layers to it, and I just couldn't help but think about all the stories that boat had. And I went back the next day and didn't find it. They had moved it. So much to my dismay, I just did a lap of the park and tried to find a new subject. And I really didn't feel like going out that day because it was, despite being like picturesque and very sunny, it was really, really windy, as you can see. And I was like, oh no, the boat's not there. Do I just go home because it's really cold? But I'd already packed everything, and I just thought, you know what? No, nature is beautiful and I'm here, and let's just find a new spot. Something I guess I've always wanted to be able to draw outside and film myself outside. I always admired creators that just brought their camera everywhere and they just did all the shots, you know, and I have never really had that type of confidence. It does take a lot of confidence to make that normal. So, yeah. I think choosing a subject and just letting my hand do whatever it wants to is the most normal thing I can do. Just easy breezy, beautiful, and make it as natural as possible. I think it's easy to overthink what we should be doing when we open up a page. At this point, I'm very much overthinking the trees. I'm not really sure what to tackle, what to focus on, and what I like. And I end up resting on this tree, and it's just so curvy and a great shape. So I ended up just like resting there for a little bit and feeling pretty natural, the way that my hand was starting to kind of loosen up. And even with a solid sketchbook practice, like probably open it every 2 days to do something, I still need to warm up. I still need to get over that perfectionist mindset of what my drawing should look like. Even though I'm an artist that has not a particular style, I still question what I should be doing. And I don't think that's an everyone thing. I think that's a bit of a me thing. But the more that your hand moves around the page, the more you'll just learn based on what you focus on, what you actually are interested in most, what your hand likes doing, and you stop overthinking. I think the more you move, the less you think, and that is just a great tool for life. Whether it's the gym, whether it's walking, moving your body, moving your hands, I think being stationary for too long, you start noticing the pain in your body, you start second guessing yourself. It's just good for the mind, it's good for it's just good in general. You can see that as I speed up, I think less, and I've created a really nice movement, like a nice moving thing. I think I definitely have comfort zones when it comes to creating. I live right near the water and I draw boats because I can see the boats from my living room. I know, that's why I'm such a peaceful person. And I think I just kind of got really good at being quick with the boats and just kind of knowing how their shapes and what they look like. And I also really like drawing quickly because you just think less about what it is you're doing and then just get something down and it looks remarkably like what it is you're trying to do. The more time I spend on perfecting a part of it, I just kind of lose the interest to complete the picture. So I either do it really quickly or I focus on a particular part of the picture. Like the tree, like this boat. So I'm focused on an object rather than the entire scene because I just don't have the attention span. I like drawing objects. I like things that stay still. Even this boat was actually turning in the water and I was like, oi, stay still, man. A few people came and walked past me, and generally I'd worry about what they would think. And the more people that have looked at what I had been doing, some of them have just been like, oh, whoa, like, you're amazing. Or, oh man, I wish I could do that. Oh, you're so lucky, you've got a gift from heaven. Oh my gosh, like I can't draw to save my life. And so many people just want to draw, and I just think, oh no, I can't draw either, really. Like if, like everyone can draw. Like no one thinks they're any good. Like even like when you're going through your sketchbook and you're like, oh, this is a bad page, and you want to like cover it up, and then someone else that doesn't make art is like, whoa, that's like the best page ever. I think we're our own worst and harshest critic, that it almost should be allowed. We shouldn't be allowed to judge our own work. Unless we can stack up the amount of encouragements as equal to the amount of criticisms we have, that's the only way I think we're going to have a balanced, grounded perception. Because if you're prone to worrying and being critical and harsh of yourself, you're not going to be naturally thinking about how you're improving what you like about what you're doing. So it's kind of redundant what you think. If it's not equal, then it's not really helpful or necessary or needed. So just release that. Release the need to judge yourself, because you wouldn't just judge someone else's work and say, wow, that's like literally the worst thing I've ever seen. No, you'd be pretty impressed that they had the courage to even give it a go. So just give yourself a break and just let your inner child come out and let your hand do what it wants. Because by this point, I am just giving in, I'm letting go, I'm creating as fast as I want, and I'm not thinking. I'm letting my hand do what it wants to do. And I understand the shapes now because I've, practiced a little bit more. I can see the overall shape. If you're just like, you've got your subject right in front of you, try not to get too wrapped up into the details too quickly. Just give it a loose shape and then kind of go in on the shading and the details. Sketching outside it's such a grounding experience. Please do it. If you have legs and arms and eyes, please give it a go. Find a quiet spot where you're not going to feel judged, but also no one cares. If you're looking down, people assume you're on your phone. I frequent bars and cafes, and I always bring my sketchbook now. And people literally don't look at you. I'm looking up, I'm looking at everyone, and no one looks at you. Yeah, it's fun. I think you'll surprise yourself. I don't have any art training, or I have been, very art curious, and I've done a lot of 6-week courses, pottery, fine art and stuff. Never went to school for it, but just been interested. So yeah, that's the content that I consume pretty much. It's just drawing and sketching and new little fads like junk journaling and all that stuff. So you can see how I've kind of loosened up over the course of this sketchbook scene. Tried to go super detailed, and then I've just been like, nah, too cold, time to go home. I love watching the trees sway. But yeah, by this point I'm just wanting to go back to my car and get warm. And you can see my sticker collection on my car. But yeah, just keep going, keep creating. Thanks.